Hi, this is Lakhi Singh, the property fixer, here to fix you and help you grow your property and your business affairs to the next level. So if you're looking for knowledge and insights about how to get involved in property, solve your problems about scalability in your property business, then do watch our 20-minute clips. We've taken them from hundreds and thousands of videos that we've taken over the last 6 months, and we've broken them into simple chunks which can make them useful for you. So do watch and do subscribe to our YouTube channel underneath as well.
Good morning to everyone. We don't seem to have Lakhi Singh around. We've got a new guest on today, a lady by the name of Jessie Marsh. That's right. She'll be on today. We'll ask her, obviously, her opinion on lots of the topics. The saying for this week is, don't limit your challenges, but challenge all your limits. Lovely way of starting the week. Challenge. That's an important word. And I think a topic of trend or worry is the behavior of the President of the United States and his resistance on his behavior. It's a bit like a senile citizen, like a child who's got the controls of the nuclear button. Very dangerous, I would say. Whatever he did last week as well was condemned by everybody in the US Senate and the lower and the upper house, and a lot of people who were at that time his foe. Talking of challenge, then he challenged everybody, and probably took the meaning setting your challenges and sort of like and challenging your limits in the wrong way. So we don't want to be doing that. We don't want to be breaking the law and creating disruption and mayhem, especially if it leads to people being killed. Is positive challenge. So challenge your limits. Don't limit your challenges, all right? Don't limit your challenges and challenge your limit, all your limits. Is probably more a positive way of looking at how to become better. We mentioned last week an excellent opportunity to challenge your limits, and the limits have been set at the moment against us by the COVID tier 5 lockdown. Tier 5 lockdown. I think needs to create an element of challenge within people. So they are challenging themselves, and they're not limiting their challenges, but they're actually trying to challenge their limits. That makes sense. I've got it all mixed up. I'm half asleep because I've had a very long weekend, lots of different activities. So apologize, but I'm sure I'll warm up as the show goes on. As the show goes on, not as the show goes on. As you can see, I'm finding it difficult to say my words properly because I'm really tired. And we are obviously going to be waiting in the back stage for Mr. Singh. Do we know if he's around? He is here? He's on. Okay, we'll invite him on in a bit when I finish. And then, as I said to you, we've got Jessie Marsh on today as well. So, can we call in? Lakhi Singh is here with us. Lakhi Singh, the alternative business and properties community, the property fixer, the alternative business and property communities fixer, Mr. Singh. Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. You're making lots of moves, it sounds like. That sounds like an energetic Mr. Singh jumping out of bed this morning to see and to talk to the audience. How are you doing, sir?
Good, good. I'm just in the car today. This is drive time, so I thought I'd take advantage.
So you're driving. Okay, that makes sense. It's drive time. So what's the weather like there in the, I always ask, I want everyone to know, we are live and we are in the UK and we do have a reach out. So what's the weather like there, sir, in the southeast, in the city of London, in the square mile, where you are undoubtedly a mover and a groover, a shaker and a maker? Lakhi Singh, what's happening in the square mile? What's the weather like there in the southeast, please? Tell us.
The temperature is very mild today compared to last week. It's literally 6.5 degrees centigrade now. And it's due to be quite mild this week, which is nice.
Excellent. Talking of things which are nice, we have the extremely nice Jessie Marsh in the background. And as I usually do, I'm going to invite her in, just like Luther Van Ross inviting in Maria Carey. So we have waiting in the wings the beauty Jessie. Jessie, morning.
Good
How are
morning.
you doing?
I'm good. thank you.
Morning. How are you doing? Excelente. So Jessie, tell us a bit about yourself. Whereabouts in the United Kingdom are you this morning?
So I am in the Forest of Dean in Gloucestershire. We spoke about this when I came on last time. You were calling me the
That's
little
right.
Red Riding Hood of the forest.
That's right. No, we heard about it, and I'm doing it for all the new listeners so they actually know who you are and they get to recap. When they go back and pull out the lovely Jessie Marsh, they will see you in the last interview as well. A lady, if you close your eyes and just listen to her, you can imagine so many things. Talking of imagination, Lakhi Singh, what do you think are your limits and how do you challenge those limits?
I think you got to keep on pushing yourself every day. You can't necessarily allow yourself to stagnate. So having a sense of always improvement or growth mindset, I would call it. You've got to have a growth mindset, and you also always got to be thinking, how do I make things better than they are now?
Yeah.
And really be fixated somewhat on ensuring that you are bettering yourself in every way, from health to body, mind, and soul. And then business.
Excellent. Well, talking about health, body, and mind, go back to Jessie. Jessie, you're in the Forest of Dean, a lovely area. I hope you weren't affected any more seriously with the floods. Did you have to stay out of the house for a long time over the Christmas and New Year's?
No, luckily it subsided. Oh, bless you. Luckily it subsided quite quickly and we were able to have a dry Christmas, which was good. So we took advantage and managed to get out in the woods and go for nice long walks, which is something we do most days. I'm challenging myself to hit 10,000 steps a day right now.
Wow.
Doing quite well, which is good.
How much does 10,000 steps relate to?
Oh, usually around 5 miles, something like that.
5 miles, and that too in the Forest of Dean. And just by the way, if you think I am ignorant to the wonderful Forest of Dean, I remember coming on a camping trip once upon a time when I was a little boy, under the age of 10. The school organized a regular camp out in the Forest of Dean. So I remember coming to the Forest of Dean, getting a fever, losing lots of weight because I was sort of like a bit podgy when I was younger. And I remember going back home after about 7 days, and my parents couldn't recognize me because I'd lost so much weight. Is that still the same case for the Forest of Dean? If you take a walk out, are you really, going to be super fit? Are you a bit like Wonder Woman? Do you walk around with a whip and you hold it and make them tell the truth? Do you do that?
Not quite. I have to be aware of all the wild animals we have. But it's so great to get out in the fresh air, even when it's cold, just to kind of wrap up and take that time. I find walking out in the woods really great because it just gives you time to center your mind and just take in the surroundings around you, listen to the nature that's there, and really just kind of have time for yourself. Right now, obviously, the gyms and the swimming pool and things like that aren't open, so it's great to take in kind of the natural environment for sure.
Excellent. So, what type of animals have you got in the Forest of Dean that you sort of like regularly? You must know where the local hangouts are. I mean, I went as a kid. I don't think we saw any animals. I think we just was wonderful because we did lots of walking, and it was really a change in my physical well-being because I was obviously quite fit. I used to play football and everything, but I was a bit podgy. When I went to Forest of Dean, I remember coming back and having lost weight because I'd, number one, caught a bit of a fever as a baby, walking around, sweating and running around in the forest. And when I got back, they literally couldn't recognize me because I'd lost so much weight in 1 week. Is that the way it is for you? Is it, Jessie? Are you sort of like super fit?
Definitely not super fit, but I'm trying to hit those 10,000 steps a day, just get some kind of center, peace of mind while I'm out and about. In terms of the wildlife, we have sheep, a lot of sheep, we have deer, we have wild boar, so you have to just be a little bit wary of those. But it's great. It's just great to get out and, just.
Okay, so you got deer and wild boar. Talking of wild boar, coming back to Lakhi Singh. Lakhi Singh, are you setting your challenge? Are you trying to challenge your limits just like Jessie has? Are you trying to do 10,000 steps a day? Are you a bit like wild boar, or are you more like a deer?
Yeah, I've also set myself a challenge to do minimum 10 kilometers run per week. So I'm also trying to get the steps in because the type of work I do, it's quite sedentary. You've got to be sitting around quite a lot in calls and that sort of thing. It's not always easy to be taking the steps. So yeah, so I managed to hit my target last week. Did 13 kilometers total of running. Did 7 kilometers yesterday.
Excellent.
I don't normally run, so this is sort of most consistent run I've done for about 2 or 3 years.
Excellent. Right. Okay. So Lakhi's definitely setting his limits, and he's trying to challenge his limits. And Jessica, what have you done for the new year? What was your resolution, and what is it you're doing this year that's changing and setting some limits?
So this year, I think mainly was to be happy within, making more time for myself. I think I kind of burnt out towards the end of last year where I was working so much and putting, so much into my business, which isn't going to stop, but I need to make sure that I've got that kind of balance and really make sure that, with my target of walking and getting out in the fresh air, that I do that for myself as well as for my business, because it works on both levels. So definitely just taking a little bit more time for me and just really kind of setting those limiting beliefs, which is, everybody seems to have, limiting beliefs surrounding how successful they can be or how much they can push themselves. But it's all about just kind of bringing that back and centralizing yourself, making sure that you're happy within to be able to move forward. Okay.
So are you involving the family in these challenges that you're setting yourself?
Yeah, for sure. My little boy comes out for walks with us. He had a new bike for Christmas, so he's been going out quite a bit on his bike, which is great. Obviously, it's been quite icy recently, so it's just been more walking than bike riding. But as the spring comes, we'll be getting out on our bikes more too.
Okay. So the second part of today's, topic theme is the RAC and how you can best make it to take advantage of the RAC for 2021 to make a passive income. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I've got it right for once. Thank you. Okay, so the RAC model and how you can use it to make a passive income. Before I go over to it, I'm going to give a shout out to Sonia Lambert, the lovely Sonia. I hope you're feeling better now, Sonia. And Jan Akram, who's always an avid listener of this show. Big shout out to you too. So, yeah, I mean, we got the news last week anyway, that Donald Trump apparently decided to get a rabble of people together to ransack the House of Senate, I think, if that I've not got that wrong. Quite a challenge. I think he was following our advice before we gave it. And that was he was challenging his limits and his limit as being the president. What do you say to that, Lakhi? Good challenge, was it? Challenging his limits?
Well, I think what's happened is we've had quite a bit of a shock for a lot of people. But there's been a funny joke going around with the leader of, is it South Korea, Kim Jong-un? And they got like a picture of him with a big smile saying they thought I was crazy.
That's good. I think they had that before as well. I say sometime last year. There was something similar to that, comparing him with the Korean leader.
I think that was to do with the detergent. I think when he was encouraging people to drink detergents.
That's right. Right. He was giving advice for people to do. I think. Look, if you really look at it, it's very rare that you have someone of that age running a company. You know, normally you have ascension policies, and you have at that level where you got the board scrutinizing every action, every word, every decision you're taking. The board normally will have weeded someone like that out. The funny thing is, in politics, you got someone running the country, a control to the nuclear weaponry as well. And what you see is quite obvious. He's a bit off the wall, a bit wacky, a bit divisive. And yet, because he's the president, you can't do anything. I mean, they're talking about, I think it's invoking some right, is it the 25th Amendment or something, which allows them to basically declare him unfit for office and get rid of him. Yeah, even though he's a couple of weeks off. But he's doing lots of weird and wacky things in between, signing lots of orders, trying to close down the whole of the world before he leaves office. What do you say to that, Jessica? Have you ever done that? Have you tried?
No, I haven't. But I think.
Did you try to close down the call center in Canada before you left? Are you trying to shut down the whole of Canadian call centers once you had the authority?
No, definitely not. I think for Donald Trump, I think he's just trying to put his kind of last stamp on things and try and shake things up before he's kind of turfed out of there. So I just think he's just pushing his luck, I think. I think he's just trying to cause more issues and kind of more noise around.
Is he not challenging his limits? Yeah, you're saying he's going to be turfed out, trying to make him out to be a bit like a turd, basically. Turfing out, but is that the case? Is he not challenging it? Isn't he following our advice? I mean, he didn't know we were going to have that advice this week, but maybe if he found in the airwaves 6 cents picked up this week, we were going to say challenge your limits, and he thought, yeah, I can challenge my limits. I'm the president of America. I challenge the House of Senate. I'm going to get a whole bunch of people to come in. I'm going to get a police. So I think it was a police constable killed as I'm doing it. That's not bad for a day's work. What do you think, Lakhi Singh? Do you think he was challenging his limit as the president then, again?
I think he's just off his rocker, mate.
He's off his rocker. Right, okay, that's a very harsh word.
I can't see any... yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense to be that arrogant to really be doing those sort of things. I mean, there's no
Oh,
real. I
people
can't
will
see
say-
any. I can't see any sort of advantage at all, really, from him doing anything he's doing at the moment.
Yeah, but people will say he's probably